Installing valve stems without removing the tire from the rim from the outside. I'm going to show you two different methods. One with specialty tools that are pretty cheap, and two with just some needle nose pliers to show you how easy it is. So let's do it. Okay, all the air is out of the tire. Spray just a little bit of lubricant on there. This hook just goes in sideways, and then the middle hooks in the middle of it. Hook it. Boom. And if you lose the end of it in the tire, don't worry about it. A rock in the tire is heavier than it is. Okay. This particular rim is kind of tight, and most alloy rims like this are. I actually had to shave down the tip of this just a little bit, but you really have to wedge this to try to get it seated, because you need this to collapse down and jump past. Okay, soap. I have tried straight dish soap, all these things, and they're not as slippery as you need it to be. Silicone would be great, but if you ever plan on painting your rim or something like that, if it's a steel rim, don't use silicone. You'll never be able to get paint to stick to it. So I just use PB Blaster, but WD-40 work the same. Okay, this needs to slide in and out pretty effortlessly. As long as I got this seated, fast motion all the way in, I should be able to get this one shot. 3, 2, 1. Nope. Did I get it? No. Let's reset real fast. Ready? There it goes. Pull back out to lock it in, and we're good. There we go. That one came out like it should. This one's pretty cracked as well. There it goes. Installing a valve stem manually with needle nose pliers. You need needle nose pliers that are narrow. Something like this. Probably too fat. Narrow, and a blunt tip helps. You don't have to, you can use a different device with a blunt tip, because we use that to kind of push it in, you'll see. And you don't want the teeth super sharp in here, because it needs to kind of slide off. Okay, the manual method. Grab on. Take our knife, cut the old one halfway. And I'm going to pull it the direction I cut. Usually pull it out, the whole thing's there. Use our blunt needle nose, really thin pliers. Squeeze it so the tip's right about in the middle. There's a brass core that runs halfway up, so you can't squeeze it too far. Like that. Get it in, and the tips. Don't like to use any lube for this method. And then we're just gonna work it around, tucking it in. Getting there. And we're in. I'm just gonna try to twist it a little bit to make sure. That just makes sure that back edge flares out and is all seated. We can put air in it. You cannot do that method if you can't turn the valve stem sideways, so you can't really do it on an aluminum rim. Another option is just a bead breaker. This is one I built, but you can buy them for about $100. And it snaps in. You don't even have to take the wheel off the car. Bead is broken. You can see right to the inside. I put my new valve stem in. There we go. Snap it in and take that off. Fill it up and we're done. I have a whole video on that. I'll put a link below where you can go watch this. So this is a kit that I bought about a year ago. 25, 30 bucks, something like that. I've used it about a dozen times. It works just fine. I think it works way better in aluminum than it does on steel rims. And partly because the aluminum rims always have somewhere to hold this and to locate it. This little tool that it comes with, you need to clamp it down a little bit further. It comes not clamped down enough. This works good. This works good. I think it even came with some. It came with some valve stems that I've never used. I did end up just barely, like an hour ago, breaking this, shattering the plastic because I was trying to use it on a steel rim, and I ended up putting it through the next to the hole and moving it over. I was just playing around with it, and I think it moved over. It moved off the hole when I whacked it, and so that valve stem went, and instead of pushing into the hole, it mushroomed out at the very end of the stroke and busted the plastic. So I didn't end up breaking it. So I'll probably buy another one. It does work decent, but I think in steel rims, because there's nothing to locate the tool, I think it's better to just use the plier method. You can actually push the valve stem up to the very end so it protrudes just a little bit, and you'll have a little nub, and you can kind of put that in there and then whack it. I have done that before, but either way, it's a decent tool. It works good enough for the price. It's easier just to break the rim for me because I have the tools. But I did want to talk 1 second about valve stems. You're like, okay, I'll just buy a bunch of valve stems. The reason I'm doing this is because I bought a bunch of cheap valve stems, I think off eBay, and they all start cracking in 6 months. That valve stem that you saw leaking in the video, I think I did those maybe 10 months ago, and I wasn't even I was just going to change it because I knew some other ones is cracking, and so I went out and touched it, and it was leaking. So good thing I was doing this video and caught it. But anyway, these ones right here are made from natural rubber, which there is no good we've used up that resource. That resource is no longer there. They say Germany standard. They're not made in Germany, but they say Germany standard, and they are junk. These are pure junk. Cannot use them. I'm going through and everything I've put them on. I've put them on my daughter's car. I got to find everything I've put these on to get rid of them. And I ended up buying these, and I'm reassured that all the good ones these days are made out of EPDM rubber. This is the one I bought. I bought these off Amazon. It was like 20 bucks for, I don't know how many in there. There's either 50, maybe there's 100. I don't remember. There's probably 50. But they have to say that they meet the SAE ozone requirements, and then they won't dry rot or crack, because I've never had this problem until I bought these with valve stems cracking as much as they are. So I'll put a link to this. I'll put a link to this. It's a good tool if you can make it fit in the rims. A lot of aluminum rims you can't. Or just buy the bead breaker and break it and pop it from the inside. It's a wash. It's probably almost quicker. But thanks for watching, guys. Okay, guys, watch this. Whoops. Hey, I dropped that. Will you get it for me? Come on. That's amazing. Good job. That has saved me so much headache. Is her retrieving stuff for me. You're an amazing dog. You a rhinoceros? Hmm?